G'day. This is Patricia. She's going to help us in this session today. Now, today's video is called DCMI, a tale, as in T-A-L-E. I'll show you. These are the titles. Just there. There you go. DCMI. That was the theme song. So everything is quite fine. What I want to do today is I want to get to the bottom of my psychological problems. And you're here along for the ride. Recently, I went to a psychologist and she said, you're fine, you've done it. You've got CBD covered. Come talk to my horses. That's not true. She was lovely. And it genuinely was the best conversation that I had in a long time. It was great. She knew about meditation and cognitive behavioral therapy and thinking about the mind and all of this. It was great. But I've finally cracked, and I'm only going to be making videos Monday to Friday. I'm going to not make videos on Saturday and Sunday so that I can look after my family and spend time with my children. Not really. It's so that I can have extra time to smoke and drink and swear and yell, and I'm joking. With the stop joking, Simon. This is a psychology. This is a therapy session. I've cracked, and I'm Monday to Friday. I'm gonna have the weekends off making videos so that I can hopefully find some freelance work or make more marketing videos to make more money from Envelope of Awesome, or get 8 Elbows videos monetized, or these videos monetized, maybe, so that I can feed my family and afford to buy them shoes for their new school that they have to go to next year, and also look after my family and spend time with my children. All that to say is this is a very self-indulgent video, and I want to say that everything is quite fine, and I was fined $541 at a very inappropriate time. Oh, but we're getting to that. Every single thing that I do is totally fine, and everything that seems to happen is fine, but there seems to be the Demon Committee for Mild Inconvenience, whom it isn't real and can hurt you, is just out to get me, and there has been a snowball effect. And so something has had to give, let the gas out. Oh, just get the gas out. Maybe I like spending time with my children and my family. Existential crisis much? Anyway, burnout's a real thing. And apparently it can be caused by a series of unfortunate events that aren't actually that bad until your wife nearly dies from appendicitis. Okay, so on October, this is a timeline. So on October the 14th, I got a call from the real estate agent saying that we have to move out of the house that we're living in. Oh, actually, she offered for us to buy the house that we were living in before, which was the giant, big, massive, amazing rental place that we got, which was amazing. And me and Cass, the day before, were talking about how much we enjoyed that house, and hopefully at one point we would be able to buy that house. Turns out we couldn't, because it was insane. The real estate agent called me, and then an hour later, Cass called me and said, look, I'm in Canberra and I'm searching for the twins' shoes or something. And she said it's the first time that she felt relaxed enough and confident enough that we had enough money to buy shoes. This is wonderful. I'm having such a good day. So I didn't tell her until she came home. Then, of course, we both had we had a moment together where we both independently had a little bit of a panic attack. Mine was more internal. Then, of course, I called the real estate agent and said, hey, maybe we can buy the house that we're living in because we love it so much. And she's like, yeah, you can totally do that. It's fine. It was not going to be that expensive. And then it was being very, very expensive. Mortgage broker. Anyway, I talked to a mortgage broker on and off every day for about a week. And he was saying, yeah, you can buy it. It's totally fine. It's within your budget. No, absolutely not. That's actually insane. And you wouldn't be able to live after you bought the house. And then I felt grateful that I even was having this conversation. Not many people get to have that kind of conversation. Then, of course, we had to buy the house that we're in now because we couldn't find a rental place because the rentals were so expensive. So we worked out, did all the numbers based on me working at Mino and then having this freelance work and then hopefully getting Envelope of Awesome to make more money so we could afford to pay to live here. It would mean that our expenses doubled, which was great. I got a bonus from work, which was also amazing. I'm very grateful for that. But then I had to spend it all on renovating the house. But I was also grateful that I had that money to spend, plus all of the savings, to renovate the house because Joe has allergies to dust mites and the carpet in this house was from 1960. Maybe it wasn't from 1960. Maybe it wasn't the original. Well, actually, when we looked at the house, there was a big puddle on the kitchen bench, and we were like, where'd the puddle come from? And the real estate agent was like, oh, it's definitely from an umbrella that they left on the bench. And we were like, Anyway, then we moved in and then it was raining and then I had to fix the gutters in the rain for 5 hours, which is fine because I am physically able and I was very grateful that I was able to do that. I fixed up the gutters in the rain for 5 hours and then I got a cold from doing that, but it was just a cold. So I was grateful that it was just a cold and I didn't get any sicker. My dad came to help, which I was extremely grateful for, to renovate the house. Without him, we wouldn't have been able to do it. The best thing is that he got to stay with us, and I said the best thing about renovating the house, or having to renovate the house, was that I got to spend time with Dad, because otherwise, they live in Cooma, which is yonks away at the Shouse. Fixing the bathroom taps with Dad was the best. It was like when I was 8 years old and we built a house together, and by together I mean I was an 8-year-old boy and helping my dad build a house. Then we renovated the house. Well, I think I did it for 5 weeks, and I got up at 4 a.m. every day and then finished at about 7 p.m. went to sleep. So it was quite intense. We had to renovate the house because of the allergies, like I said. I think I've got the timeline mixed up about this. During this time, I was a little bit tired. And so my supervisor at work was starting to get to me because their specific style of supervising was very micromanaging, and it didn't fit with my psychologicalness. And I was worried about all the other younger, less experienced people in the company. So I finally, the thing that made me want to say something was I said, look, I'm going to have to take a day off. They're going to have to put this on as a mental health day. And he's like, we need to schedule our mental health days. And then I was like, no, screw you. This is ridiculous. I was terrified to say something because I was working 6 days a week to make enough money to pay for the house that we renovated. And so I was terrified to say anything. But then I finally worked up the courage to say something. And then my boss said, it's all in your head. It's because you work 6 days a week. And I'm like, I need to work 6 days a week. If I don't work 6 days a week, I won't be able to afford to pay the rent. Or not the rent, the mortgage, whatever. And then he said, nah, just don't work 6 days and you'll be fine and you'll be better. And then that reduced my income by 18%, which was great. Then, great, the DCM, which fine, which great. The fact that I was having a conversation with my boss, I was very grateful for, because I do respect him. And he's done some amazing things. I just need an extra 18% of my income back. And then the freelance work that I luckily had, I was very grateful for. It dried up with one of my other old colleagues, whom I really am very grateful I got to work with. Hopefully that will come back at some point. Then our house got broken into by kids with meth with knives. That was great. Then about $1,500 got stolen from our bank account online. I still don't quite know how that happened, but we did get it back, so I was very grateful for that. I was also very grateful that the kids with knives didn't actually do anything. They just came into our house and left a big smelly smell. There's a whole animated video about that. Also, I'm pretty sure they went started to open the girls' door to their bedroom, but luckily the girls' beds, I made them into loft beds, so it was good. I was trying to think about that too much. And then we got that money back because the Commonwealth Bank is amazing. The Commonwealth Bank of Australia have this weird thing that if money gets stolen out of your account or something, then they give it back to you. So we get the money back, and that was great. Then I thought, okay, I need to do something about this. So I'm going to take a week off. I'm going to take a week off to recover from all the house renovations, which is great. And at about 10 p.m. at night, I went to have a nice big drink of water because I thought I need to stay hydrated and need to eat right. And I filled up the water from the tap because I was too lazy to fill it up through the filter. And I drank about, 2 liters of water, a lot of water. And it turns out the town water was poisoned. So for that whole week that I had off, I had excessive diarrhea. But I was grateful that I got that time off whilst being sick. I didn't recover, but anyway, then we had to decide which high school to send the children to, and then we went to the local high school thing. I thought it was a joke. It was very bad. Anyway, I won't go into details because the people there, I'm sure, work very hard. It's just that it was all a bit witchy-watchy. I don't think they... Anyway, we chose a different school, which is about an hour away, and then we had to go to take the twins for an interview, so to speak. Now, this interview was with one of my old teachers, Mrs. McManus, whom I love, and she's the principal there. That was wonderful. And then, while we're walking down the front stairs to hop in the car to go to that interview, Kaz fell down the stairs because the stairs are really slippery in the rain, and she was just telling Joe, you be careful on the stairs. Then she slipped over and smacked her back on the stairs. Now, I'm very grateful because she only just got a big bruise on the bottom of her back, but it was rather traumatic. She didn't break anything. Nothing was broken. She's very fit and strong, which I'm very grateful for. Then, Kaz has just a little tiny bit of PSD? Photoshop document? No. PTSD about medical things, and so I eventually slowly convinced her that she should go to the doctor just to get checked out. About a week later, after she fell down the stairs, we went to the doctor, and the doctor was amazing. Her name was Hannah. She's amazing. Amazing doctor. She was very kind to Cass. Turns out Cass was fine. She just had a little bit of ouchies. And then, while we were driving away from the doctor to come back home, we got a phone call from the school, and the school's like, Fee's broken her arm. You should come pick up your daughter because her arm's broken. And so we did that. Fee broke her arm on a wristy area, and I am so grateful for the Australian hospital schemey thing. The kids' hospital there is amazing. We went in multiple times, obviously. She had to get a cast here at the hospital, temporary. The doctors and the nurses and stuff were amazing. But then the bone doctor place in Canberra with the kids' hospital, they had things all over the walls, and then these Starlight Foundation, I suppose you'd call them performance clowns or whatever, just dressed up in cool clothes. They would come out, they gave Fee stickers, and then we played cards, and it was great, and they were amazing, and a wonderful sense of humor, and it was wonderful. But we were cutting it very close because the twins, had a camp to go to school, which they were so excited about for about a whole year. This was like a year 5 camp, is amazing. And we weren't sure if she was going to get a cast that would allow her to go to camp in time. Turns out she did, which is great. So I'm very grateful for that. I also thought, Cass convinced me, hey, maybe you should take 2 days off. And I'm like, I'm never taking time off again. Every time I take time off, I get sick or something terrible happens. And she's like, nah, it'll be fine. So I took 2 days off to recover from everything when the twins went to camp. So I did that. Then the rabbit got sick. Poor little Waffles, he nearly died on the day that they went to camp. Then I had to make a decision about whether we should let the rabbit die horribly while the children are on camp or pay lots of money to save the life of the rabbit. Anyway, turns out I'm very grateful that we spent that money because the rabbit is still alive and he's a little bit of a psychopath. We had to feed the rabbit every few hours, this mushy stuff. That was fun. Anyway, I'm so grateful that the rabbit's still alive. What do we got here? The twins come home from camp, and then which is great. And they had a great time, and we told them all about the rabbit. It was a little bit iffy whether the rabbit was going to live, and then the rabbit lived, and that was great. Then Joe's allergies went crazy. I don't know why, maybe because of the change in weather or something. I don't know. Maybe because she went to camp and then got exposed to the dust mites there. Who knows? Fee got a migraine and a virusy thing, which was weird. That was just normal. I'm very grateful she's fine now. Then we had to go to the Shouse to look after a 900-year-old dog. My mum and dad's dog. His name is Pippin. He's not 900 years old. He's like 120 in dog years or something. He's very old and very cute and still alive. So I'm very, very grateful for that. One of our good friends' fathers died. Unfortunately, he was not very well. He died, and that gave us a little bit of perspective. And I was very grateful to spend time with my dad because he's still alive. And I'm not emotional. You're emotional. Shut up. And so then I'm at this point, we're halfway through, I'm terrified of taking any time off because I lose my job. And then so I start doing gratitude meditation. It's where you sit down and you try and do gratitude meditation. You go, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering, and may you live in the world with ease and with joy. And then you do that for the people whom are causing you trouble, and then it helps with everything, which it does. I was having a terrible day, and I came home and got a $541 fine for putting my phone. I sat on my phone when I was putting the rabbit in the back of the seat on the drive home from Canberra, taking it home from the vet, not knowing whether it was going to live or die. And I have to tell my children when they come home that their rabbits died while they were on camp. Anyway, it didn't, and I was very grateful for that, but I was moving my phone from under my butt to the other side. And anyway, I got caught on the camera thingy, and I got fined $541 for that, so it was good. Meanwhile, all of this is happening. I'm trying to get solar panels for the house because there's a government rebate or something, support panels. That is just insane. Don't ever, you should get solar panels because it's really good for the environment, and it's such a good idea. It's such a good idea. And it makes sense of all of the anyway, you put your contact details down, and then every single solar company on the planet contact you all at once and give you very differing quotes and it's just really confusing. Anyway, then we had to go back to the Shouse again to look after the 900-year-old dog. Then the car got a flat tire, which cost us $250, which is great. And I was very grateful that that happened. And then convinced myself to go to the doctor because I have migraines all the time and stress, I need to relax. So I went to the doctor for a mental health plan, which is the thing you can get in Australia, which I'm so grateful for, where they give you 5 or 10 sessions or something with a psychologist so that they can help you through your problems and all of that. Which is wonderful. I went to the doctor for the migraines and everything, and then she got me to do a blood test because just to check my levels because I thought maybe I've got low B12 vitamin that makes you really tired all the time. Turns out my B12's totally fine, but my triglycerides are really, really high. Then so the doctor called me back up and she's like, you're gonna die, you need to take statins right now. And I'm like, no, I don't eat carbohydrates. This is why my triglycerides. And she's like, no, it doesn't matter anyway. I went to see a different doctor who's a lot more expensive. Then I had to have a CT scan, which is a little bit expensive. Then I've got to go back and get the results, but I haven't had a chance to do that yet because of other reasons. Or also, some of our friends the relationships keep splitting up, and it's really sad. Finally, Kaz and I sit down in the backyard and we have a talk about how we need to make a decision, focus on recovering, and so I schedule 3 days off to recover from everything. Then my new oh, by the way, the supervisor that was driving me nuts, apparently he was causing a little bit of trouble, and so they let him go from the company. So it wasn't all in my head. He was actually not doing the good things. Anyway, then... But, what am I saying? Oh, we made a decision to take the 3 days off, but my new supervisor, who's amazing and a wonderful person, whom he has an earring and he's bald like me, and he has a beard, and he lives in Vancouver, he's fantastic. He says, well then the Monday is a day off in Canada. It's Labor Day, and then you can have the other half a day off, so then you can have the whole week off. I'm like, Cass, guess what? I get the whole week off. This is wonderful. I'm not sure... I'm not sure going through all this is a good idea. Ooh. So then I'm very, very, very grateful for that because that's just a surprise. I get an extra 2 days off. And then the next day, Cass gets appendicitis and has to have emergency surgery, and I have a medium-level panic attack, but then Cass is okay, which I'm eternally grateful for. And it was kind of like hitting a brick wall. Whew. I remember sitting in the car park while Cass was in surgery, and I was having this medium panic attack, and I was eating a new burger from the McDonald's, not a sponsor, and watching Technology Connections' video about door closers, and that was a good time. So thank you, Technology Connections, for being my guiding light in that moment. Anyway, then the beautiful nurse, whom I'm very grateful for everything else that she did, she screws up the dosage of the intravenous antibiotic that they were giving to... She didn't screw up the dosage. She was supposed to get it in half an hour, but she got it in 3 minutes. And so it was a little nerve-wracking. Anyway, she got it, I think it was 3 minutes or 30 seconds. Anyway, really quickly, and then Cass had a bit of a reaction to that, and so all of her skin went bright red and her tongue was like tasting like metal, but she's okay now, she's okay now. Since that time, I've had the week, this is the first day, I gotta go back, this is a long video. Whew. Cass has had a low-grade fever and has raised levels of liver stress or something, so we had to get another blood test, which we did this morning, which is great. I'm very grateful for Cass and her abilities, because she has coped so well, just so well. I mean, after she came out of anesthetic, she had a little tiny bit of a botanic attack, not a botanic attack, botanical attack. That's when the trees get you. The triffids are coming. But she's been doing amazing. Oh my God. Anyway, so I'm finally making another appointment to see the psychologist I mentioned at the beginning here. And she said, basically sounds like you've got CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy covered. Come talk to my horses. It's not really what she said. She was actually very kind of her to offer. I don't think it's my cup of tea though, it's kind of like just one example she gave me was you make a path of like the last year or something, and then you walk through or get the horse to walk through it or something. And then it's a way of bringing out the non-verbal aspects of your emotional turmoil in some sense. I don't feel like I have emotional turmoil deep hidden within. I think I'm just a little bit burnt out. And then that brings us to today. I've left out quite a few things, but we won't talk about them. I mean, just little things like I lost my headphones. I just lost them. They're gone. I don't know where. They must have fallen out of my pocket. And then my spare headphone, which was one left, I pulled it out of the packet. The lid came off and then it broke apart. It just fell apart. The Demon Committee for Mild Inconvenience isn't real. I went to the psychologist, by the way, to ask, and I said, look, I need an objective person outside my circle of influence. Somebody professional, someone of authority, to say that the Demon Committee for Mild Inconvenience isn't real. And she didn't confirm nor deny. So I felt like a little bit like I was going crazy. Isn't that right, Patricia? Damn right. I bought some new headphones And they work really well. I'm very grateful for that. Whew. I'm glad I got that off my chest, I think. But I'm so grateful. Go lug your loved ones. Because loved ones are the most important. You gotta lug them. Lug your loved ones. You know that emotional level where you're watching Ted Lasso and he gives those shortbread biscuits to his boss and he just says, I hope you have a great day or something, and you just burst into tears? Yeah, that's what it's like. I bet you there's a word for that. Whew. Thank you so much for breathing. I think it has been a lot. That's what the psychologist said when I told her all of this. I didn't tell her all of this, by the way. I told her like 10% of it. And she's like, you sound like you've got a lot on your plate. And I'm like, I'm not allowed to have a lot on my plate. Some people have such worse luck than me. I'm the most lucky guy on the planet. But remember, be kind, be curious, and stay awesome. And we'll get back to our regularly scheduled videos Monday to Friday. Maybe sometimes on the weekend if I find myself having extra time. Ah, dearie me. Do you have anything to say, Patricia? That's right, Patricia. Love is the answer. Go lug your loved ones.